Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on Superman Lois Season 4. Today we're breaking down the brand new trailer that has been released by the CW. It's actually available on the CW app. That's where I saw it, and a lot of you guys online have seen the trailer. We need to discuss it, break it down, because this is a surprise trailer because we weren't expecting a full trailer until Comic-Con, and according to my sources, this is a separate trailer, and the trailer at Comic-Con, the full trailer as they build it, will be slightly different. So we've got a lot to break down, so stick around with me throughout this entire video. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Okay, so we got to jump right into this trailer. Again, link is in the description below, or you can watch it on the CW app yourself. It's on the Superman Lois page. But the trailer opens with Lois, and Lois is here, as you can see on the screen, and she's looking over at Clark's glasses. She is mourning her husband, she's mourning Clark's loss, because as we found out in the previous trailer, Superman is dead, and they are adapting the death of Superman. That has been 100% confirmed. We're going to get it at least in the first couple of episodes. I don't know if Clark is going to be completely absent. I don't know if Tyler's in the episode or not. We'll have to wait and see. But the next shot is of Lois, and it's just another angle from outside, and she's dressed all in black and she is mourning the loss of Clark. Now, this is where we cut to literally the moment where Lois finds out that Superman is dead, and you can see her here absolutely sobbing, and there is loads of emotional music playing throughout the trailer. It's going to be a devastating moment when they all find out that Superman is dead, and Lois actually says in the trailer, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like, I don't think Lois ever thought Superman can actually die, but Lex has created something so powerful that it's actually been able to kill Superman. And so she says that while crying, and you can see in this next shot, I think it's a devastating shot. It's of Lois's hands on Superman's costume. You can see it's him, so presumably they've either gotten back to Earth, maybe Jordan or maybe Steel has gone up to the moon and retrieved his dead body, or he has somehow got back to Earth and he's died there, or he's been slammed to Earth by Doomsday. But according to what is said later in the trailer, it actually looks like Doomsday might still be alive, and he may still be a threat at the start of the season. Now we'll get into that because there are a couple new shots of Doomsday in this trailer, but they both include Superman, but there is some references that make me question if he's dead or not. But let's move on to the next shot. The next shot is of the whole family. They're looking at Superman, they're looking at their dad. He's on the floor just behind them. We saw the alternate shot of this in the previous teaser trailer, and we see the sheer emotion on the kids' faces. Like, look at them, they're in absolute shock. And again, like Lois, I don't think they ever expected their dad to die. But then we move on to a funeral scene where I think they've buried him underneath the ground at the Kent farm, just where I presume his parents are also buried as well. And they're all dressed in black, they're in funeral attire. We've seen this previously in some BTS, that we knew we were going to get some sort of funeral in this season, and it could be multiple funerals because obviously Superman will come back from the dead. Like, that's a given fact, guys. Like, even if we're doing Death of Superman, there is always his revival arc afterwards, and so that will happen. But as you can imagine, all of the characters are going to take it in their own different ways. But for the Kent family, who are going to be on screen a lot this season because they're like one of the only series regulars in the show along with Lex Luthor, they are going to be hit very hard. And you can see that with Jonathan in this trailer. He is extremely angry, he's shouting, he's screaming a lot in the trailer, he is frustrated, he's trying to do his bow tie in this shot that we're talking about here. And so yeah, he's not okay. Like, he's taking it very to heart. And I wonder, is there any chance that Jonathan, with all of this shock and with all of this anger, will he figure out how to harness it? Will he tap into his Kryptonian DNA? Because at the end of the day, he is half Kryptonian. So that is a question going into this season. Will Jonathan get his powers or not? So let's move on to the next shot. We have the return of Natalie and John Henry Irons. They're going to be in episode 1 or 2 I'm not sure specifically. However, Natalie in the trailer says, I feel so bad for John and Jordan, their dad just died. So they're there kind of lamenting what's going on and how the world is going to be changed and how their friends and family is going to be different, because this is a huge deal. And the fact that she straight up says Superman is dead pretty much, I mean, that is just crazy to hear. Like, every time I hear it from a different character, I'm like, okay, this is actually real. But what John Henry says next is super intriguing, because this is the reality, and he says, this is the new reality we're facing, a world without its protector. So obviously new people are going to have to step up, and as we discussed in the Reign of the Superman in the comics, which is the follow-up to the Death of Superman comic arc, what happens is Steel, John Henry Irons, steps up. He is one of the heroes, as well as Superboy. Now, this is not the normal version of Superboy that we're used to on Superman Lois, but it's a different version, but still, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing, right? So you got Steel and Superboy in the show. They are going to have to step up, and as you see later in the trailer, which we'll get to in a minute, Jordan wants to be able to live up to what his father did as a hero, and so he's definitely going to try and step up. And I think Steel is going to have to be the adult about it, as you know, Jordan is going to be acting on emotion for a lot of the season because so much has gone on and his dad's just died. So yeah, this is kind of all working out since Steel is there, Superboy is there, and we're gonna definitely have the return of Superman at some point. But the next shot is of Jordan, and he is looking in his cupboard, looking at his superhero costume, the prototype Superboy costume, and he is wondering and pondering about using it because he thinks he can take on Doomsday. And we've got the next shot, which is of Doomsday holding Superman, bringing him up, presumably away from the moon. So I think this is actually a new shot. I don't recognize this shot. So I think they've had their fight on the moon. Doomsday's got the better of Superman. I don't know if he's dead or not by here, but maybe he actually takes Superman back to Earth and slams him to the ground, and that's where you find Superman. That's where Lois and everyone discovers him. That is the question. What do you guys think of that? Let me know down in the comments below. But the voiceover at this part of the trailer is to do with Jordan, and Jordan said, let's try and attract the thing. This is how we save Dad. So is Jordan wanting to attract Doomsday? Does that mean Doomsday is alive? That's what I mentioned earlier in the video. I think Doomsday could be alive, and Superman has just been defeated by himself. And the reason I'm surprised is not that I don't think Doomsday can just straight up beat Superman. Yeah, he can definitely do that. It's that in the comics, they normally kill each other at the same time. Like, Superman sacrifices himself, but also gets rid of Doomsday. And if Doomsday is still on the roam, that means Jordan and also Steel and Natalie are going to have to take down Doomsday by themselves, as well as Lex Luthor. Like, that's going to be extremely hard. Like, I thought it would be hard enough for them to just take down Lex Luthor on their own, but with Doomsday potentially out there, I don't know how Jordan thinks he's going to defeat it, but he wants to try and attract the thing, and he mentions that in the trailer. So it seems like Doomsday is alive, guys, and that's a big revelation. And so he's talking about this with Jonathan, and as I said earlier, Jonathan is not into any of this, as Jordan screams, you can't fight it. And we get this amazing close-up of Doomsday. I mean, I'm just super excited to see anything to do with Doomsday, because I was pretty much under the assumption with the budget cuts that we would see like no Doomsday at the start of the season. But I'm so happy that they're actually going ahead with this. They're doing the Death of Superman. They're not kind of doing the easy route, copping out of it, which they easily could have done with the budget cuts, but it seems they're staying bold, they're staying big. And the next shot is of Jordan in his Superboy outfit, and he is here confronting Lex Luthor. And this is just after Lex has said, Superman is dead, can we just please enjoy the moment? And so it seems Lex is meeting with, you know, his allies. We've talked about Amanda McCoy in yesterday's video, you can check that out. But she's an important ally who runs LexCorp. And so I'm pretty sure Superboy is going to be a big deal to start the season, because a lot of this trailers actually focus on him. And as I said, Jonathan doesn't believe Superboy can actually take on Lex, take on Doomsday. And Lois also screams, you're not ready yet. You're not your father. That's the shot on the screen right now, and it's pretty clear she thinks you're not ready. And I know for Superboy, I know for Jordan, this is frustrating to hear because he's heard this ever since he started to use his powers, because his parents have been very protective about the missions he goes on, and he believes he is ready, as seen in last season. And now with obviously all the emotions flowing, he's going to be like, yeah, I'm ready. I've got to go. I've got to prove I can be a hero like my dad. But Lois thinks, no, you can't do that. And so he brashly goes and confronts Lex Luthor, who you see in the trailer, just sat down casually. And you even get this amazing shot of Superboy floating in the air, and you have him facing off against Lex Luthor. I presume that is what's going on here. And Lex says to him, next time you come at me, you better be ready to kill me, because, you know, Lex is absolutely deadly. He will do anything, and he is not intimidated by Jordan as Superboy. And Superboy's costume obviously doesn't make him very intimidating. It's a very amateur costume. It looks like cosplay, but he's definitely going to get an upgrade this season. That's my theory. I really do hope he gets a proper Superboy costume, because it would suck just to see him in these kind of classic looking goggles. Like, yeah, it's cool for one season, but come on, let's upgrade this, because he's going to be a big deal in this season and probably become full-on Superboy. And so let's move on to the next shot. So as I said, Jonathan is completely mad at Jordan. He says, you were trying to be a hero, my dad is dead. So that he is really digging into the emotions. He's really digging deep, because everything is going to shit basically, and Jordan is risking his life. He could potentially die as well as his dad, and he's trying to be a hero confronting Lex Luthor, which is just absolutely stupid, of course, even though you would think, okay, Lex is just a normal human. Well, he has so much backup, and if Doomsday is still out there, and if Jordan's going to face Doomsday, that's going to be nearly impossible to defeat him, because Superman couldn't defeat him. And so then we get a big return, and I'm very excited about this. This is General Lane. Now, we thought he wasn't going to come back for this season, because the wife of the actor actually said he wasn't going to come back because they didn't offer him a good deal, but in the end they worked it out. And the last time we saw General Lane in season 3, he was actually kidnapped by one of Lex's allies. And so in the trailer, he says he always comes back talking about Superman, and he is all beaten up and battered, and he is chatting to Lex and Lex's allies who surround him. You get this amazing shot of Lex. It's all smoky, it's all moody, and basically General Lane is sat just next to his grave, which they've dug for him, and so he's going to be buried alive. He is kicked into the grave by Lex in the trailer. You can see it right here on the screen, and Lex says to him, not this time, in response to saying Superman always returns. And then what follows is some of the same shots as the previous teaser trailer, and in the trailer it basically shows like an asteroid being exploded, and I'm wondering what's the importance of this. Like, why are they tacking it onto the end of the trailer before the Superman Lois logo comes out? Like, is this a teaser for the return of Superman? Will this be in a later episode, not at the start? Or is this just simply Doomsday going through the asteroids and blowing everything up? Let me know, what do you think about that in the comments down below. So that is it pretty much. It's been a whirlwind of a video. It's very late here, but I had to make a video on it because this was major breaking news and there is so much to talk about. Let me know, what do you think about all this down in the comments below. Obviously, I want to get your thoughts on Superboy specifically, as well as the potential return of Doomsday, who is maybe alive, and then also the shots of the family reacting to Superman's dead body on the ground. I mean, that's just insane to think about. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. Shout out to all of you who have watched my recent videos. They've been performing really well, so I really appreciate that. Also, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest Superman Lois teaser trailer breakdown, which had some other shots that weren't in this trailer, so go watch that. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.